This episode of Cognitive Dissonance is brought to you by our patrons. You fucking rock. Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason. Hey everyone, welcome to this special episode of Cognitive Dissonance, Toaster Shakins 2018, the best and worst of the show over the past year. The guys are taking the week off, but they threw this episode together. Ian threw this episode together for you. We hope you enjoy it. Sorry, Ian.
Oh, thanks. I worked hard on this
So
one.
let's get started.
Okay.
This clip comes from episode 395, Science Fair Volcano Lair, published on January 8th.
All right, this story is from the Friendly Atheist blog. I love this. Rapper B.O.B. Bob. Bill Nye needs to read more books to understand the flat earth. So, I kind of love this because for a little while there was a feud between rapper Bob and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Mm-hmm. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson's uncle or cousin or fucking
somebody
whatever.
Somebody made
an opposing rap video. They had the rap wars and there was spaghetti on their sweaters already or something. I don't know exactly what happened to it. But now Bill Nye is getting in, because rapper Bob kind of called him out. And Bill Nye's like, look, you can come to fucking Science Center World or wherever he lives.
He's like, come to Science Mountain. It's like the Justice Science League of America will fight you. He's like Bill Nye is he's like, you know how there's evil scientists?
Right.
Like Bill Nye's the good scientist. Right. And he lives in a volcano lair dedicated to science somewhere.
But it's a science fair volcano lair. It's made of paper mache
and baking soda and vinegar. Just explodes, and it's very nice, and it's very environmentally friendly.
When it explodes, it gently cleans your carpet.
Little Roombas scrub the mountain. It's very nice. It's very peaceful at Science Center Mountain.
so Bill Nye's come to Science Spectacular or wherever I live.
Come to my satellite where I live.
That's what he says. So he's beam
down my information to the humans.
He's I can show you how science works more good.
Yeah, I could show you. He's like, we could literally look from a satellite. We can turn a satellite on and be like, bloop, and there'd be a camera that goes whoop, 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 and it takes a picture of the world, and you can see it. And this guy's like, hey man, you're Bayfay with me. It's with the guy who wrote this book. Isn't that the equivalent to I'm just asking questions though? Isn't that college equivalent?
Right, yeah.
It's like, I stated a thing. I said a thing, and I'm such a weasel that I can't stand behind what I said. Go fight the guy who wrote it. I'm just repeating what I wrote.
Yeah, I'm just a parrot.
Yeah,
I'm just a parrot for bullshit. And it's but you're a slightly I don't know rapper Bob if he's a cool.
Sure, I don't know him either.
Rapper these days. Yeah. I haven't asked the kids what they think of rapper Bob.
I come up, I hike my pants up to my nipples. I'm like, hey, kids.
Right. I'm just
what are you kids kidding about today? I was doing an arm swingy thing.
I got my white pants all the way up and my fucking cloth belt.
Yeah. My tie's way too short still.
But I have no idea how influential rapper fucking Bob is, right?
I don't know him either. I don't,
but he's clearly at least somewhat influential, at least according to the article, right? So it's you can't lend your fucking voice to this bullshit and then back away from this bullshit. Yeah. The guy that he quotes said Hitler was misunderstood and was actually a peaceful guy.
Here's 100 proofs that the Earth is not a globe.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And so I found a couple of these. Here's one that I want to read. So whenever experiments have been tried on the surface of standing water, the surface has always been found to be level. If the Earth were a globe, the surface of all standing water would be convex. This is an experimental proof that the Earth is not a globe.
Come the fuck on. Did you see I don't know how much of this stuff is just people bullshitting. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
How many of these people really believe this shit, right? But I watched a video on Facebook or something where some flat earth idiot was like, This is why, and he takes a lemon and he pours water on
He's
it.
kidding. He's got to be kidding.
He has to be.
Because he pours water on it. He says, see, there's nothing on this lemon. There's no water. And then he pours it in a plate. See, there's water in this plate.
Right, and this is why there's standing water when it rains.
And you're like...
And it's like, okay, like dimensions matter.
Sure.
Like if you had one cloud that was as big as like a massive chunk of, then that would be, and it all rained at once.
Yeah.
Okay, we got some problems here, but that's not at all how like ratios and sizes work whatsoever. Like, so I want to address the very first claim.
Okay.
The earth is not a globe. So it just got me to thinking about what the word globe means. So I Googled the definition of globe. Noun, the earth. The earth is not the earth.
I think you've disproven it. With all those were done in like the 1800s, right? Before we had a thing that flew into space and flew around.
I just looked at it.
Flew around. And we have, how many satellites orbit our Earth? Like, how hard is it?
Yeah.
How hard is it as a flat earther, as a person who knows about the universe, right? As somebody who's like, all the astronomers have to be in on it. All the people who send up satellites, all the tech people who are involved in all that work, all the people doing the SpaceX program right now, all these people all have to be in on this joke, like this big, crazy practical joke. When all you need is just one picture from a fucking satellite, one picture, not even from a thing that leaves Earth. If you look at that fucking guy, the Red Bull guy,
Baumgartner, right?
Fucking Red Bull guy. You look at the Earth and you're just like, that's a little marble down there.
Right?
Yeah.
It defies all of the evidence. It's just a crazy person thing to think. I love this video. I got to tell you, the Felix Baumgartner video where he jumps, it is one of my very favorite things. I've watched it 100 times.
It's so funny because when you look at it and you're just like looking at it, you're like, that's a fucking globe, man. Like, it's a globe. Like, look at behind the guy. It's a globe. They're not superimposing that.
Do you remember you and I have gone up to Michigan a number of times?
Yeah.
And we've sat and looked at the stars where you can actually see them really good. Yeah. And we've seen satellites. And you can watch them trace their way across the sky. And then you can wait a while. And we've both done this. You can wait a while and they will reappear at the place that you saw it on one edge of the sky and it'll come back. What do they think is happening?
Like, is it going around the dish? I don't understand.
And I don't understand. Like, what's underneath the other side? Is it like just a like a flat?
Does it just say
down there? Like,
China,
what is it?
made in Pakistan or something underneath there?
This bit is from episode 396, Reverse Nazi, that released on January 15th.
This is amazing. This is amazing because the world has gotten so insane that this is a possibility. It's from Gizmodo. We regret to inform you that Donald Trump's Gorilla channel is totally fake. So this is a basically like a Twitter prank.
Yeah,
that kind of took on a life of its own. And the nuts and bolts of the Twitter prank. Actually, do you mind if I read part of it?
No, go ahead. Actually, read the whole thing. It's hilarious.
This is pretty great. So this is the joke. It purported to show an excerpt from Fire and Fury. This is not real, right? And this was tweeted out. And this was the purported made-up excerpt. On his first night in the White House, President Trump complained that the TV in his bedroom was broken because it didn't have the Gorilla channel. Trump seemed to be under the impression that a TV channel existed that screened nothing but gorilla-based content 24 hours a day.
Oh, it's the best.
To appease Trump, White House staff compiled a number of gorilla documentaries into a makeshift gorilla channel.
That's amazing. It's so awesome.
Broadcasted at Trump's bedroom from a hastily constructed transmission tower on the South Lawn.
I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
Right. However, Trump was unhappy with the channel they had created, moaning that it was boring because, quote, the gorillas aren't fighting, end quote.
This is so awesome. What a great prank.
Staff edited out all the parts of the documentary where gorillas weren't hitting on each other. Hitting on
each other. Hey, now.
What's up, baby? Come here often.
I got a red ass.
My anthill or yours. Weren't hitting each other. And at last, the president was satisfied. Quote, on some days, he'll watch the gorilla channel for 17 hours straight, an insider told me. He kneels in front of the TV with his face about 4 inches from the screen and says encouraging things to the gorillas like, the way you hit that other gorilla was good. I think he thinks the gorillas can hear him.
It's supposed to be an excerpt from the book. Right. And so it goes out and a bunch of people retweet it and like put stuff up. And one person who they said, no, it's a fucking joke, who had retweeted it said, people shouldn't tweet out jokes like this because they're too often stripped of context and spread fake news. You read that and thought that was fucking real? Are you serious? 17 hours? You read that and you thought, yeah, no, that sounds fucking plausible.
I love that the part that you seized on as implausible wasn't that he would watch a gorilla channel, but the length of time he might spend
If you get to 17 hours in that, Tom, if you get to 17 hours and you still think it's real,
I know.
And you still think it's real.
You know the part that like, the part that's also like so obviously untrue is the transmission tower.
Yeah, I know.
Like you don't know, you get everything from fucking cable. Like they would just put it on a fucking hard drive.
Yeah, on your hard drive, and then just run it from your they just play it like, over and over and over again.
Like I object to the technology.
Yeah, the technology. There's so many things. But if you get to 17 hours and you're like, no, this is still true, you're an idiot.
I know.
You're a fucking idiot. He doesn't have a fucking gorilla channel. Now, he's got a poor person snuff channel. Definitely has one of those. But he doesn't have a gorilla channel.
Well, what he calls poor people is gorillas. Yeah. So actually, maybe this is truer.
Can you get a couple of those shithole people to kill each other? Do that.
Give them all a knife, put them in an arena, make them fight. See who comes out.
He doesn't have a gorilla channel, but he has an entire kitchen dedicating to make chocolate cake. Like the entire kitchen, that's all they do is make cake after cake that he can jam into his maw.
I get 7 pieces. You get nothing. You can watch me eat it. It's a privilege for you to watch me eat.
It's amazing that someone can read this. It's like your friend telling you, I banged this girl. You wouldn't know her. She's not from around here, but
she's from Canada.
I totally put it in her butt.
I had an anal threesome with 2 supermodels from Canada. It was pretty amazing.
We drove her Lamborghini over. She had to sell it, so she doesn't actually have it now. And
I took video, but it didn't come out. Anyway, no big deal.
No big deal.
Anyway, don't ask for a lot of detail.
I'm the heir to the budding fortune. So,
Here's a clip from episode 403. Cornerwich. It was published on March 5th.
I want to preface the story with saying this story is just a series of allegations.
Right.
Nothing has been proven.
Absolutely.
But they are hilarious allegations, and we are covering them not because of anything other than it is hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is Alex Jones. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I sort of hope these things, this is a terrible thing to say, I sort of hope these things are true so that Alex Jones gets burned by them. Right? Like, I don't want them to be true in the sense that I don't want somebody to be like bullied or harassed. So please don't misunderstand that. I want them to be true in this sort of generalized, abstract way that I want Alex Jones to suffer poor outcomes. Right?
Yeah, right. Sure.
Although I don't know that I don't know, man, because then what would happen? What would happen if there's no more InfoWars? What if they shut down his garage?
Somebody's gonna take over the mantle of his garage. The next person buys it and they blow the dust off it.
Somebody else has one of his clickers. Like, he just opens the door. Oh, my green screen is moving.
Great.
The roller goes up.
Funny. It's like fucking National Treasure. Like
somebody finds InfoWars.
Somebody slides down the pole into the center of InfoWars, into the Illuminati.
I had to read the teleprompter with these seer stones. I read the teleprompter with my face in this hat. That's what I do. All right, so we're going to read this piece from the Daily Mail. And so the nice thing is I'll only have to read the headline.
Yeah.
And then the 43 sub-headlines underneath it.
Exactly.
Exclusive. Not actually exclusive because you read this now at the Daily Beast as well as everywhere. Daily Mail.
Yeah,
as long as it's daily.
They did all link back to this, though. Yeah. So the Daily Mail, they broke
this story. The hard-hitting journalists over at the Daily Mail broke this story. Fired InfoWars staffers at war with Alex Jones. One claiming he was teased as the site's, quote, resident Jew. You need one. Why is that? I don't get.
He's our token Jew.
He's right. It's a resident Jew. At least he gets to pay the resident rates. and not the non-resident. Because that's like 40%.
He just has to wear the star on his clothes.
There were a lot of residents at Takao. They were all, it was a residential program.
It was like a ghettoization program.
Hey, guess where you're a resident of now?
Oh, no.
That's all right. Yeah, this guy over here with the SS, he's
free
your RA.
showers. God.
Fuck. Resident Jew. Well, African-American worker says she was, quote, mocked for her skin tone.
Oh, why else would she be mocked? I mean, come on.
It said African-American.
African-American, she's going to be mocked for something. What could it be? What could it possibly be?
And Jones grabbed her behind.
Oh, nice.
So 2 former InfoWars staffers have filed complaints to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission against the site's founder, Alex Jones. Rob Jacobson, who's Jewish, alleges Jones bullied, ridiculed, and humiliated him.
Rob Jacobson, a Jew.
Well, maybe if he would have let everybody know that he was a Jew.
Jesus.
Iverson. Jones joked with staff who called Jacobson the Jewish individual. Wait, why is that?
The Jewish individual? Isn't Ben Affleck in that?
Hold on a minute. He already controls the media. So you wonder, after he's fired, what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, didn't this guy hire Alex Jones?
You think you just call all of his evil Jew cabal?
Yeah, exactly.
And get him fired?
Weinstein on the phone. Did Alex Jones have to sleep with Weinstein?
He didn't have to. It was strange how much he volunteered for that.
They both had their shirts off in this weird way.
He showed up with a casting couch and a U-Haul outside.
I think that when you say the Jewish individual, it's like specifically mispronouncing somebody. You know what I mean? Like you're just being a dick for no reason.
Probably. Yeah. I guess why refer to their Judaism?
Exactly.
Unless you were like, hey, it's fucking Hanukkah.
Oh, yeah. You're the Jewish.
Let's ask the Jewish individual what he thinks about shutting down.
Okay, that's fair. In context, maybe it'll work, Tom.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Or
but if that's how, if that was his nameplate at the desk, then that's a bad thing, it turns out.
I can see, if it was hey, we all went out to lunch and somebody didn't put in their fair share, it was probably the Jewish individual. That would be a way where that would not be okay.
And Eli's like, I just ordered the potato lachi. I wasn't going to pay as much as you guys.
We're going splitsies.
They also refer to him as the resident Jew. And they shouted, this is my favorite time. They shouted, his name's Jacobson. They shouted Jacobson across the office.
Maybe they just had like a speech impediment.
Maybe. No, that's
know.
fine. No,
yeah.
Let's give everybody on his staff the benefit of the doubt.
Jacobson also claimed that Jones called him Beefcake, a homophobic slur.
Called him Beefcake?
I feel like if somebody called me Beefcake, I would just say thank you.
I just own it.
Right? I'd be like, hey, Beefcake. I'd be like, what's up?
Taking my shirt off, wearing this bow tie.
I was going to say, that's when the next day you show up to work, you got a leopard thong and a bow tie. You're just like, and Beefcake.
I got a boa on with leopard print tight pants.
Breakaway pants.
Let me tell you something. There is nothing more vomit-inducing than thinking of me in leopard tight pants. Everybody just lost their lunch. Oh my God. Nothing more vomit-inducing.
We're still reading subheadings.
It's just a little less than me taking my shirt off.
Don't talk like that. You're leaving your shirt on.
Yeah, I know. I leave it on all the time. I shower with it on. Are you kidding me?
It's a requirement for us to record the show that you wear 2 shirts at all times.
Yeah, just in case.
It's a minimum.
Yeah, in case one of them blows off or something. Yeah, God, it's disgusting.
A second ex-employee claims she suffered, quote, harassment and discrimination at the hands of Jones and other senior managers at InfoWars based on her race. Former production assistant Ashley Beckford says she was subjected to sexual harassment and racial slurs by her colleagues and upper management.
Jesus, they didn't stop at the lower management.
That's where it gets middle management. You're like, all right, fine, you can grab a titty. You're middle man. Your life is, you have a shit life. You're in middle management. Just here, I'll put it in your hand. It's fine. It's not even weird. It's just don't rub the nipple too hard. She claims Jones.
Even weird. Okay, it's a little weird.
It's a little weird. That's a little weird. She claims Jones groped her, quote, butt, end quote. Why is butt in quotes? I don't know. Is butt something we need to not believe? Was that your butt?
Yes, it's where my legs meet my back. Everybody's got it.
That's like they got a cleaver in the, I don't know, what the fuck? She claims Jones grabbed her butt during a side hug.
A quote, Side hug. I love side hug. I love the idea that Jones is walking up to people giving them side hugs. I just think that's the best. I think that is genuinely the best. And then it says pretending to feel sympathy. They gave him a side hug while pretending to feel sympathy over an incident and asked who wouldn't want to have a black wife. I don't know if that's true, Tom.
I don't know if any of it's true, but it's all hilarious.
It's very funny.
I like the idea that Alex Jones is giving. I just see him crushing people in the side hug. Like, I broke another one. Like they just drop lifeless to the ground. Next
all these
to him.
People stuffed in his armpit. He's like, all screaming from inside.
They're like the souls in it, just spinning around in a cavern underground.
Oh, there's some great lines in here too. It says, in a series of allegations, Beckford, who is an African-American, says she was mocked for her skin tone, called coon by a senior manager. What, did he go back in time to get that insult?
Right? Who uses that word anymore?
Last time you heard that?
I've only ever read that.
Yeah, right?
In old-timey books.
Exactly.
Called racial slurs from the Nether Times. Are you kidding me?
Also called Mark Twain.
I know, right? They actually had this sail down the river experience that they did as part of a team building exercise.
They had to paint a fence.
Their guide is Jim.
It's blank Jim.
Oh my God.
The lady added, Alex often spent his time shirtless and endlessly leering with or without a shirt at female guests and employees while creating a disgusting, hostile environment. Any environment that Alex Jones enters into is a disgusting hostile environment.
I love the idea. He's just walking around work, lounging around with his shirt off, just leer.
Like, my chest is business casual.
Oh man, my shirt is chafing me.
He's got like a tie shaved into his hair in the front.
Now my pants are chafing me too.
My pubic hair is chafing me.
Would you please bring me a hot cup of sex?
Can you? Is there any way you could wax me?
This also kind of cracks me up. It says Beckford also claims she was intimidated by the constant display of guns in the InfoWars office. Oh, I wonder why that would be intimidating. Look, unless you're a gun shop.
You know what they should have done is put one of those little stickers on the door, and nobody
like
would
no
have
gun sticker. That would work.
So you can't bring a gun into Alex's garage.
It might be his basement. I don't remember.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. This is just, it's so funny. And the thing is, like you're saying, I'm not laughing at these people. Like this is, if it did happen to these people, I think it's bad to be in this situation. I just think, I do think it's funny that it's Alex Jones. It's almost like, there's moments where you're just like, you knew where you were working, right? Like, like of course you're going to run into guns there. You know what I mean? Now the shirtless thing, I got to admit, nobody should expect
unless
you're working at a strip club or like a topless bar. He takes
his shirt off all the time. It's like not expected. It's like working for Putin and expecting him to wear a shirt. Like, if you work for Vladimir Putin and he fucking comes to work naked riding a polar bear, you're like, oh, it's Tuesday. That's it.
That's how he came to work.
That's how he. This is Alex Jones. Have you ever seen the show? Do you think he's well? This is the job you applied for?
I don't think he's well. No,
he's not well.
Think he's well.
He's a weird wackadoo dude.
I think he's swell, but I don't think he's well.
This one is from episode 408, Yakov the Ant. It released on April 8th.
This is fucking amazing. This is from the Joe My God blog. Right-wing pastor. I squished an ant, and then I raised it from the dead, and then it looked at me.
All right. So this is the clip. It's Frank Almeida, and he's on some program.
And this is the guy who claims he got rid of that tsunami.
Yeah, he's the one who prayed away the tsunami.
But he really prayed away. He just redirected it to hit a different island or whatever.
It to a different place.
Hey, kill some strangers. I know some folks over here.
All right, so this is him.
To go do the baptism. Sure. We were waiting to go join the crowd and do the baptisms. And he said, well, picked me up in about 45 minutes. So I ran out on my balcony. I had my gym shorts on. It was a little chilly, but in the sun at the Dan Hotel, I'm out there like this. I put my head back and I'm meditating and saying, Lord, you're going to do something awesome for these people getting baptized. I want it to be the most awesome experience of their life. When they come up out of that water, I want the dove of the Holy Spirit to rest upon them. And that's how I'm praying. Very, very religious. You know, blah, blah, blah.
I'm praying religiously.
You know when you try to be really religious and you're just like, it's like that. Like, that's what I was doing.
He was mocking his own shit. I was all like, blah, 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 God.
He's like got his head back and he's like, hermina. Fucking amazeballs. Holy shit.
Blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, I feel this sting on my leg. And you know, when you're stung and there's an insect, you do something involuntary. You don't think about it. So I went like this.
Wait, you hit yourself? That's not involuntary. Like I want to kill whatever stung me. Like, right. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I like these. Like, oh, it's just I wasn't thinking about it. I have never regretted killing anything that bites me or stings me or. Like, fuck you.
I've killed people's toddlers when they bite me. Are you kidding me?
And I looked to see what it was, and I saw this ant fall down onto a towel that I had put on the balcony so that my feet wouldn't get bit from ants on the balcony.
Well, great job. The ant was like, fuck, I can't get across that. See, it's not a picnic blanket. I can't make my way over
I'll sell you this towel. It keeps ants away. Put it next to the stone that keeps tigers away.
Where is he that it's just covered in biting ants?
You're just like, yeah, I'll just put this cloth on the ground. There's no way an ant can traverse it. It'd be impossible for the ant to get across this. I put it down because ants, there's no way they can actually grip cloth. It's just, they sit on it like ice. They can't move. They're just spinning their little arms around. They fall over on their back.
Just like they're just like turtles. Like, fuck.
I am perplexed by your cloth.
Balcony. Well, this was a smart ant. It was a Jewish ant. He crawled up.
Smart ant.
I named him Yakov. Yakov crawled up my leg, and I whacked him, and he was laying there, and he was squirming a little bit. So half out of compassion, half out of vengeance, I took this big thumb, and I went like this.
As opposed to your little thumb. This here's my little thumb. This here's my big thumb.
I use the big one for ant squishings. I use the little one to stick up a choir boy's ass. He gives some weird extraneous details when he tells a story.
Also, it's like he goes out of his way to name the ant before he kills it. That's a little weird, dude. Like, you got there's a little.
I gave it a social security number and a birthday.
I called him Yakov, and I figured his favorite color was purple.
And I heard him squish. I felt it crack under my thumb, and a piece of it, it was two pieces. I went like this and flicked it, and it went down on the towel. So, you know, case settled, assignment over, back like this. Pray.
Him and hell about it.
You know how you idiots pray. Come on.
And all of a sudden, the Holy Spirit speaks to me so clearly. It was as clear as I've ever heard. And it wasn't the voice of the Holy Spirit, another theological lesson for another time. It was the voice of the Father. The Father calls me son. And the Father said, son, look at the ant. I looked down at the ant, and as I did, I saw another ant come up over the side of the towel, and it began charging directly at this ant. I mean,
it's like, come at me, bro.
What? The ant runs after, it's like, fuck you. I told you after you slept with my wife, you'd get yours, you motherfucker.
He ran across. Yakov! No! No! Why? Why?
It just runs up to the guy. Vengeance is mine.
And it was an ant on assignment. He was moving fast.
They're all on assignment. They're ants. Like, that's their thing. That's like their actual thing.
It's on assignment. It's unfolding its tiny little orders.
Is this the first time he's ever seen an ant? No, he seems fascinated
what
by
is it
these
the
things.
queen wants me to do?
He
you capture him, the queen.
He swallows his tiny orders. You'll never find him, you son of a bitch.
Before he squished this one, it took a cyanide pill.
He went to this one and he began to pull on it and tug on it. And it wasn't moving. And then the Lord...
Because I cut it in half with my enormous thumbs.
You crushed the life out of it. That's how that works.
said to me, son, I hear the cry of an ant.
Oh my God. But you don't hear the...
Yeah.
Think of all the other cries that your crazy God you believe in did not hear.
Think about all the cries. Yeah, exactly. Like at every moment,
there are like thousands of kids fucking mining cobalt right now. There are like fucking human beings being sex trafficked all across the globe. People are starving. There's kids with that fucking eye parasite. And then it's just like, well, but I've got it. There's all these ants.
It's like an ant.
What about Yakov, guys? How do you want me to prioritize this?
I said, oh my God. Do you understand what happened in that moment? It was that I've always known God to be almighty. We worship him as sovereign. He's the creator. And we've preached. I hear what a sparrow falls. I know the number of hairs on your head. I know the thoughts of your heart before you say them.
I know that when your stomach is empty, most of the time I don't care.
I know when you're sleeping and I know when you're awake.
Right? And I know when you have childhood cancer. And
I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
I created you in the womb, but when the Lord Almighty, God the Father, speaks to you in Israel and says, I heard the cry of that ant, I began to weep inside of me. I don't know if I was weeping for the ant, weeping for myself. I just began to weep. I broke. Mm-hmm. And then the Lord said, son, take your finger and touch the ant. I went like this, Judge, and I got about this far from the ant. The power of God shot out. The ant that was running around.
That lady just sighed. That lady just
She
sighed.
was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Like,
the ant that was running around the other ant, he just flew. The power hit him and he went like this. I don't know where.
He died. He got fucking killed.
He got killed.
It's
a lightning bolt.
Hey, you want to save an ant? You got to kill a few ants.
Kill another ant. Kill his best friend.
He went, but he was gone. He was airborne.
Yeah, fuck him. He didn't even have a name, that motherfucker.
I didn't bother to
Whatever.
This is flying ants. There's somebody on the ground. It's like, what is happening up there? Is somebody popping ants like popcorn? What is going on up there? Oh, God.
I got to get a better hotel. It's not covered in ants, too, by the way.
And the other ant, it came alive. And the
Wait, like which half?
Which half? Right?
Yeah, which crushed half came alive?
Oh, my God.
pieces all were together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like magnets.
like Freddy in that one movie.
And it jumped up on my finger.
They don't jump. Who's ever seen an ant jump in all the history? That's how it got on the towel.
Those are those famous jumping ants.
Well, it's Mexican. It's a Mexican jumping ant.
It's just sitting there and he touches it. It's like the Terminator and Terminator 2. And it's like all like clumping back together.
Oh,
like,
my God.
It's all mercurized.
Came up very slowly, my palm.
And then it high-fived me.
I hope it stung him again.
Oh, please say it stung him.
Stopped right there as if it was looking right at me.
And then I squished it.
Oh my God, this story is fucking amazing.
God. You know what's amazing about that story, Tom, is that there's two adults rapt attention listening to it. And that's not us.
No.
There's two adults in that room listening to that story. And they're just like, yeah, no, yeah.
God pieced an ant back together.
Yeah, God reforms ants when you break them.
Yeah, that kid in Cambodia that stepped on a landmine is fucked, but you know, let's put that stinging ant back together.
Did that ant like have Amazon purchase protection on it?
Here's another clip. It's from episode 410, Sadness Correspondent, published on April 23rd.
This story is everything to me right now. This story is from Right Wing Watch. It's Alex Jones. Alex Jones claims attractive women tried to date him in high school to convert him to Satanism. This story is everything. I saw this week, and I was like, I was so fucking erect. Yeah. I could not. I was like,
giddy. I was giddy.
This is beautiful.
All right, so this is Alex from his show InfoWars.
You know, when I was growing up in Rockwall, Texas, at that time the richest county in Texas, a bedroom community of Dallas, and every time I thought some hot 17-year-old when I was like 13 or 14 really wanted to date me.
Oh, so much already. Yeah. 16 seconds. Yeah. 16 seconds.
Is he really telling us, Tom, stories about his middle school dating life and how awesome it was? Yeah. The idea that he's going to be telling us this one time at camp I banged a girl from like Niagara Falls is the very best, because that's what it is. It's a Niagara Falls story.
I know, but
it's a band camp story.
But it's even better because, like, he even paints himself in a shitty light. He's like, look, man, these girls wanted to date me. I don't know why they wanted to do that either. Like, he also can't figure it out. Yeah. He made up a story that is improbable, and he basically highlights the improbability of attractive women wanting to date him and ascribing supernatural influences as the only thing that could account for this bizarre phenomenon.
How weird would it be if you sat down and talked to somebody and they were like, let me tell you about this time in high school where I was really cool. You'd just be like, I gotta go.
Dude, I sat in on a meeting. I sat in on a meeting with a guy who's got to be late 50s, early 60s, right?
Yeah.
And I look over and he's got his high school class ring.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, did you throw the big football catch thing or whatever? Like, are you kind of...
Jostens talked him into a ring.
It was a high school class ring. That is a man nearing retirement age.
Wow.
And he's like, when I woke up this morning and I put this suit on,
chose this ring.
This is the ring. This is the one.
He doesn't have his wedding ring on. But
He didn't have a wedding ring on. Probably because his fucking 17-year-old girlfriend from back in the day. I once dated a girl with a vagina. I mean, I never saw it, but she said she had one. Her hair was long.
And I'd drive out to some big old mansion of theirs. And I mean real mansions, helicopter pads, private landing fields, you name it.
He would drive out when he was 13 or 14.
How are you driving out there? What are you taking, your scooter? Alex Jones has like those knickers on, those onesie knickers. And his little shoes, and he's pushing it down the road. That's amazeballs.
We'll drive out to the mansions. At the third or fourth time I'd been with them, they'd tell me, by the way, we worship this God, and we want you to come to this event. We want you to engage in this activity because Lucifer's really God.
Wait, what did this happen to him? Hold on a minute. This is amazing because he said every time, as if this was like a common occurrence.
Constantly.
We're like all the 17-year-old girls say like they turn like 16, like 15, they have their quinceañera, and then like 17, they have their like Lucifanera or some shit. What the fuck? You got Beelzebub. Whatever. Happens to all the girls around here.
I love the idea that they'll be like after the fourth meeting, they're like, you're cool enough to tell you about the Lucifer thing.
Like, how does that work? Like, because I'm not a fucking 13-year-old boy anymore. Like, are you fucking by the third date?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think maybe you've tweaked the boobies.
All right. Okay.
Third date. Right.
So the 17-year-old's like, all right, I'll let you.
You've moved past the cheek. You're kissing a little tongue, and you've tweaked the boobie.
All right. Yeah. So we've got the headlights on.
Oh, the 13-year-olds now they're on Tinder.
And I told people those stories when I first got on air 20 years ago,
and they were like, bullshit.
Really?
They're like, do you know that you sound really pathetic?
Did this really happen to you?
Here's the thing. Even if it were true, think about how pathetic this makes him.
I know, God. Like, you're still talking about it years and years later.
If this were true, this should be your secret shame. Make this your secret shame.
And it kind of sounded a little bit hokey, but now you see it all with the mainstream media. And there's a spiritual component to this. It's not a power trip. They knew interdimensionally
You know, I don't like a superficial girl that only thinks about things one-dimensionally.
I like him to think outside of the Schrodinger's cube.
I only want... I like a good interdimensional thought. That's they were really thinking interdimensionally about that one. Oh, fuck. That's impressively impossible. Doesn't
Because believe me, they weren't trying to get the average person to go do that. Everybody thought like, why are you dating the head cheerleader or the head senior when you're a freshman in high school?
Is there a head senior?
There's a head senior.
Does that senior give head?
No, he's clearly dating the valedictorian cheerleader, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
Did they name you're the head senior. So there's a lot of responsibility that comes with this position. You have to become satanic and date 13-year-old boys.
Here's a garden hose. Here's a golf ball. Tell me when you're done.
Well, because, she was driving me out there in her $100,000 Mercedes, and that was 30-something years ago.
I thought you were driving. This story is getting more complicated as we go along.
I don't understand this story at all. So,
Judge Judy says, if you tell the truth, you don't have to live a long memory. And I think right now, you're already messing up your own story.
And again, I just want to point out again, that, he's saying, when I told this story, people were like, why did this happen to you? They're looking at him wait a minute.
Wait.
Can we rewind to the part where a hot chick wanted to see you?
You're like a box with a head. You're like one of those clothing boxes they drop clothes.
Right? It's like a wardrobe box.
With a pumpkin someone set on top of it.
Driving me out there in her $100,000 Mercedes, that'd be a $300,000 Maybach today, to try to
Why did it change brands?
I don't know.
It just, okay.
Get me into the cult. And then I was about 16 and got taken by a girl out to the lake. And this big vineyard. It was way out in Hunt, way out outside Dallas. And I saw these police cars pulling up, people getting out and saying, we're going to have a bonfire, Alex, don't be scared. And started singing.
Why would they say that? Why would they say, we're going to have a bonfire, don't be scared?
Maybe he's 16 and afraid of fire. Was he Frankenstein's monster?
That's the weirdest thing anybody's ever said in a sentence to anyone.
So a 16-year-old girl drives him. So we don't know how. No, he's 16. So how old are the girls now? Are they still 17?
No, he's 16. I guess they're probably a little older at this point.
So are they're still
19?
Okay. And they're still driving him places?
I guess so at 16.
Man, he's fucking killing it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Uber back then was killer.
So she's driving him out to the lake, which is also a vineyard. Mm-hmm. And then the police show up to have a scary bonfire.
Have a scary bonfire, yep.
Okay.
People putting black hoods on. These weren't KKK hoods. These were black hoods. And I remember...
Yeah, They weren't the good kind of hood. They were black hoods.
Oh, Jesus. They were black hats.
saying, oh, my God. And she's like, don't be scared. And I said, I'm not scared. I'm not part of this. And walking back on the road, and about 5 miles later, didn't have cell phones back then. I had like 10 miles to walk back. Police came and got me. Said, boy, you've been drinking. We're taking you to jail. And then my family lawyer called my dad, and they said, Dr. Jones, you need to leave Dallas or your son's going to be found dead hanging in a jail cell.
Yeah, none of that happened.
Because lawyers, what they do is warn you that, because what are you, a mob boss? Are you kidding me? I'm not, have you ever had a conversation? Lawyers are the most boring people in the universe. No lawyer's ever said that to anyone in the world.
No. It also, if the police are in a place where they're murdering people, then why would they not just murder people? I am always amused when it's if I didn't leave, these murderers would have murdered me. Murderers would just murder you. They don't give you
They don't wait until the police give them an okay.
Is it okay to murder? I'm a murderer. And as a but I am
Is it the purge day yet?
I'm punctual. I only murdered 3.
I want to do it on the purge day. And the best part about the story is how many different lies he has to tell while he's telling the story to get his point across. I still am not quite sure what the point is, but
do you think any part of this is true? Has he ever been to a lake, for example?
Has he ever spoken to a lawyer?
I'm doubting the veracity.
I'm going to say he's spoken to lawyers.
Now, later, the last laugh happened when the sheriff and others got busted for narcotics. And Texas Monthly did a story about it and didn't believe me and actually went back and asked people. And they said, no, that actually went on. Now, look how crazy that was 30 plus years ago. I'm 44. So I was about 13, 14 when all that started. And look what we've done against the globalists. Look at Bohemian Grove. Look at it all. All of us are being called towards a quickening.
Is this the Highlander now?
Hey.
It's the Highlander. There's going to be a guy with a samurai sword
just lopping
from
heads.
Scotland.
Like, why don't you have a claymore? Those are heavy.
Look,
I'm not carrying one of those
I'm
around.
a Spanish guy who went to the Orient, China, to get a samurai sword. Thank you very much.
He was. What did he say? There?
I am the Kurgan, and I have a remember the snappy sword he had? He had
No.
Don't you
What?
remember the first Highlander? Do you remember the first Highlander?
I don't. I remember I remember the second one because heads just fell off of
Kurgan,
people.
the Kurgan, who was the evil guy in that.
Okay.
He's the one who had he had the safety pins in his neck. I don't know if you remember he's the character.
I don't even remember this at all.
I think it was the bully from one of those old timey movies too. Like
was it the Gooch from Different
I don't know,
Strokes?
something like that. Anyway, this dude is like. He's got a sword in that movie. This is the funniest shit ever. It's a broadsword that he carries in a briefcase. He opens. It sounds the best. This is the best. Okay. He opens the briefcase and it's in pieces. And he takes the
sword
handle,
is in pieces?
He takes the handle and he puts it there, and then he starts taking pieces of the broadsword and they snap together. And then he's got to snap together the broadsword. Then he fights the final battle. That story is more believable than anything Alex Jones has said. He's got a snap tight.
What did he buy it from IKEA? Does it have cam locks and dowel rods?
It's literally like a snap. It's the dumbest sword you've ever seen in your entire life. Like I saw it when I was 10 and I had a boner about swords. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
And we're either going to resonate with the dark satanic force or the force of life.
What is that?
We're going to resonate with the round.
Nothing.
Can I hear the whole thing about the quickening and the dark forces one more time?
Let's just try it all here.
Against the globalists. Look at Bohemian Grove. Look at it all. All of us are being called towards a quickening.
Don't know what that means.
And we're either going to resonate with the dark satanic force or the force of life. We're going to resonate with the Roundup and the genetic engineering and the nuclear war. We're going to resonate with happy green fields and butterflies and our children.
Wait, those are our options? Wait a minute. Nuclear war or butterflies?
Nuclear war or your children. I'll choose the war.
Have you met my kids? Are you kidding me?
Any kids.
The fucking house would be cleaner if a bomb went off inside it.
And the strongest people out there don't choose the evil. They're strong enough to buck it and to go through it. And I don't tell you that story to sit there and impress you.
What?
But I do want to point out, I was banging a 17-year-old before I had pubic hair.
When I was 13.
They liked the boys smooth back then.
You could not tell a less impressive story. I don't tell that story to impress you. Well, I couldn't imagine a world where that would have done the trick.
I think I would have been more impressed with you failing to flip an omelet story. Like that would be the more impressive. You're like, yeah, so I just decided to make scrambled eggs with bacon and cheese instead of making an omelet. Because I just like every time I put it over to the side, I tried to pull it up, and I'm using one of those nonstick pans. It got a little stuck in there, and I tried to shove it off to the side, but and so I just decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to stir it up. So I just stirred it up with the hidden spatula.
Because I'll be honest with you, I love women, and they were great pieces of ass.
Oh my God.
What 13-year-old boy is banging away? Like, you love those stories. And like, yeah, I lost my virginity at 9.
They were a great piece of ass.
It was an innie back then.
I'm just glad he's keeping it classy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's one thing. We almost walked away from this story a handful of seconds early. And I just want to say,
I'm glad we waited. I'm glad we waited. Alex didn't wait. But
they were great pieces of ass. It's amazing.
But they weren't there to get me because they thought I was good looking.
Because I wasn't. Let me tell you.
Because you look like Chunk from fucking Goonies, man.
Can you imagine, look at how ugly he is now. Can you imagine his awkward face?
You know he used to make his belly talk. You know he did.
Just drew the...
Oh.
This next one comes from episode 414, When It's Time to Change, released on May 14th.
This clip is fucking beautiful, Right Wing Watch. Michael Snyder says that if elected, he'll be, quote, ranting like Alex Jones on the House floor.
Oh, great. This is another Alex Jones clip.
Oh, a lot of the Republicans are totally clueless. And, it's like when they go to D.C., it's like they have their signs surgically removed. They're constantly compromising on anything.
There's no way this guy is going to get elected. He sounds like a fucking somebody has got a squeaky toy that's almost out of air. Like it's at the very end. You know, like when you squeeze the squeaky toy and it's done, and then you kind of like right at the end.
After his voice changes, he might have a shot.
He's Peter Brady.
It's like, are you fucking kidding?
It's time to go to the Senate. And it's time to go to the House.
His mustache. Can we just talk for a second?
Yeah, no, guys, you got to see this.
Mustache?
You got to see this. That is a porn stash.
It is insane. Nobody has that mustache.
Yeah, no, not unless you're. Well, you do in when you're 13,
dude.
You have that mustache when you're 13.
You have that mustache if you lost a bet and you're 13. Are you kidding me? Anyway, guys, I got like 6 hairs on my upper lip. Guys. He sounds like the kid working the cash register in The Simpsons, you know?
He does.
Holy shit.
They've been compromising for so long, they don't believe in anything anymore. That's why we need to send people to Washington that aren't just right on the issues, but that are willing to fight. And if I go to Congress, I mean, we very well understand I'm going to be the most.
There's literally no chance you're going to Congress.
Also, we haven't had anything happen in Congress in like 7 years. You want to talk about people who are digging their heels and ready to fight? Look at everybody there now. Nobody there is willing to compromise.
Right. And I got to say, too, like, there have been a lot of senators elected that have been just on fire. And I think genuinely so. And then they run into the massive obstructionist wall of Washington politics.
Yeah.
And all that fire just sort of gets doused out by the fucking reality of working in that system.
Yeah. They're Mr. Smith. When they go to Washington, they're fucking Eeyore after the first week. Just like, fuck this.
Most hated member of Congress in all of Washington, D.C.
Oh, it'd be beautiful if you were there because
I would basically interrupt you and tell you what to say. So
when you get there, let me know. Bend over. I'll shove my hand up your ass and use you like a human puppet. You fucking crazy mustachioed motherfucker.
So just educating folks in Idaho by running, and you are in a close second place in 7-way round.
They'd be the only educated folks in Idaho.
He's a close second place in Idaho, Tom. A close second place.
First place is an actual potato.
Yeah. Oh, no. First place is a steer. It is. You can't be a potato and do it because they'll pull your plug in Idaho.
What is the population of Idaho? 9?
Now let's find out.
Like who? Like, are you fucking kidding me? The whole state, 7 million. The whole state is 1.7 million people. In the whole state.
Baller. Good for you guys. You can make it on your own.
Your state is a piece of shit.
Oh, man. Yeah, everybody gets their own square mile, too.
Right. But if you get there, imagine you up there on C-SPAN, on national TV, everywhere, going through the New World Order,
C-SPAN, that'll make a difference.
Oh, yeah, you should go through the New World Order once you get fucking put in office. That would be fucking amazeballs. I would love to have somebody who's an actual conspiracy theorist that isn't the president. That would be amazing.
I can't believe you had to just say that. Yeah. That is it, because that's a true thing.
Yeah, really.
I love the idea that like
so
I know. No, he is a conspiracy
absolutely.
theorist.
Yeah.
Like I remember reading an article like the various conspiracies that Trump has espoused, and it's dozens of them. Like the man is fucking crazy. I have to think there's actually. I mean, I think anybody who's a climate change denier is a conspiracy theorist, right? Because they think that there is a conspiracy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The anti-vaccine people. I think there's a lot of conspiracy nuts.
Yeah, I think you're
in
right.
Congress.
Yeah, they're not as vocal, but this guy would be talking about conspiracies that I think even conspiracy theorists that are talk about that are more mainstream would be like, what the fuck are you talking
that's
about?
not hard. We don't do that one here. We do these. These are the list of approved. Pick one from the list. Go back, Michael. Pick one from the list. Shave that mustache. That's for Idaho. That's not for here. Get rid of that. It'll take you literally 2 snips.
No, you didn't have to look to cut that off. You just follow your nose.
For the TPP, going through the Department of Education, it would really be a good thing.
Oh, and I'll go right to the floor of the House of Representatives, and I'll start ranting like Alex Jones. You guys know me right from the floor of the House of Representatives. So if you want to see that, we have this opportunity to defeat the globalists 1 seat at a time.
We're not saying don't be like the Democrats.
I love that he's so weak.
I know.
That Alex Jones can just walk right over him. I love how weak he is.
I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be so powerful. You were saying, sir?
What were you saying? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk during your show.
Of course I brought you some coffee. I love you.
Actually, you just keep talking. I'll climb under the desk.
And if your mom, your dad, your cousin, your brother, whatever died the last few years on the voter roll, do not go in and vote in their name. And I'm not being tongue-in-cheek.
What?
Yeah. Don't use dead people's names.
Glad
to
you
vote.
had to say that out loud to people.
Don't go ahead and do that. That'd be wrong. Yeah, we all know that's wrong.
Yeah. And you couldn't anyway.
I think he's saying
can't anyway.
I think he's saying unlike the Democrats.
We really shouldn't become the enemy. But go catch illegals or folks vote in the name of dead people. Just make sure you get out and you vote. And because they're going to pull some hanky-panky.
Oh, what are you talking about? All the illegal voters in Idaho?
If there was one person with a strong tan in Idaho, they would be pulled over and tasered. Idaho's got to be the whitest state in America. It might not be, but it is.
I know you said it and then you had to pull it back.
I know, because I don't know if it is or not, but I know it's not.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But the beautiful thing is the primaries, we can have so much more of an impact than the general election.
Because that's the only chance you'll have is to get any votes is in the primary. Because you're not going to win the primary.
Because in our primary,
but that is an issue. The Democrats are giving driver's licenses all over the country to illegals to vote. They're doing all this. And then we as libertarians or Christians, we don't cheat. Okay.
Did you see that they did come out with a thing in Chicago? It's a ID for anyone who is a resident of Chicago, and it does not take United States citizenship into account.
No.
But you can't vote. You can use it as a way to show people that you
exist,
that you can vote, but you don't automatically get to vote if you have it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's just an ID that you can use.
And you can waive.
But the thing is, you don't have to present an ID in Illinois to vote.
No, you don't. You don't have to present. So, I actually specifically leave my ID at home when I go to vote.
Do you really?
I've been there twice, and they've asked for it. I've been there many, many times. Clearly I vote every election, but my polling place, the last 2 times I walked in and I said, I'm here to vote. And they're like, can I see your ID is what he said. And I said, no, you can't.
And they just let you
and he looked at me and I was like, you can't see my ID. I told him my name and I told him where I lived. And then he found me in the list and then he gave me the stuff.
Right.
And that's because that's how you have to do it. That's the rule of law in Illinois is you do not have to show an ID.
I wonder if they're asking for ID because people's names are difficult.
Super easy. Yeah. But I just don't do it.
I wonder if it's just lazy. If I'm an election judge, maybe I would just be like, just give me your ID so I can look it up. You know what I mean? Instead of because people are going to be like, my name is unpronounceable gibberish. Yeah. You'd be like, I got to spell that.
Sure. But I'm not going to give it to
him.
I
wouldn't either. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I just wonder if it's nefarious or if it's practical.
No, I don't think it was nefarious at all. Yeah. I think it was totally practical. Yeah. But again, you're not allowed to ask for it. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. There's nobody in Chicago, even a city with this kind of shitty reputation that we have. Nobody in Chicago is voting for dead people. Nobody in Chicago's you should have saw the bullshit that went through. Last time I went to the polling place, it was for the primary. It was for the primary here in Illinois, the gubernatorial primary. This one guy came in and he walked in and he said, look, I'm at my new place. I don't think I got my card changed, but I know that this is my polling place. And they spent 25 minutes with that guy the whole time I was in line trying to work with him to try to figure out if he was in these or not in these or whatever. If it was so fucking easy to just vote, to just do that.
Right.
These polling places wouldn't spend 25 minutes with you. They would just wave their hand and be like, fine, whatever. We're a Democratic area. They're blaming the Democrats. We're a very Democratic, heavily Democratic district. Sure. They would just wave their hand and be like, fine, this guy's probably going to vote Democrat anyway. Here's your ballot. Go vote.
Right.
But instead, they spent 25 minutes with this guy trying to figure out whether this was his polling place or another place was his polling place. They're on the phone. They're double checking records. They're on a fucking computer. He spent his entire morning there. My entire time I was waiting in line, which was not insignificant. It's a busy polling place. That's just one guy coming in with the wrong fucking polling place. How do you think this works, man?
Well, they don't. They
don't have any idea.
Right.
They don't have any idea.
Do you know what I bet? I bet that this plays really well to people that don't vote.
Yeah.
Because most people don't vote. Most people don't vote consistently.
Most people don't vote.
So, my guess is that this narrative plays really well in the minds of people that don't fucking vote.
Yeah, sure.
Because if you vote, you're like, that's not possible. Yeah. And then that's it.
I'm sure that there's some people that can get through the cracks, right? I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people that will, they'll have maybe they'll say something. There was somebody who wound up getting caught for it, and they were trying to vote for Trump. They got caught for it. But there's a couple other people that I'm sure there's some that get through the cracks. I'm not saying it's impossible to do, but it just feels like it's a federal crime. It's a lot of shit to just fucking vote a different thing. You know what I mean? Like just to vote one more extra time, a few extra ballots. It feels like a lot of work to do
for minimal impact.
For very minimal impact.
Right.
Especially in a place like Chicago or whatever. Like it does. I mean, in fucking Idaho, maybe it might mean something because there's only 7 fucking people that are going to vote.
Well, it's like, look at the last presidential election. According to this narrative, there's like 3 million rigged votes. Trump lost by 3 million votes. And they went through all this effort and all this work and all this logistics to get that done, but they didn't put them in Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Because all
instead they stack the deck in places that don't matter.
All you needed to do is put 1.5 million in Florida, 1.5 million in Pennsylvania. The thing's over. It's over.
Right.
Okay, I agree. We shouldn't cheat, but we need to start prosecuting these people that are caught cheating.
Yeah, we need to restore the rule of law.
Let's find some.
Yeah,
Let's find a few.
Yeah, sure.
Because we keep finding them and they're on your side.
No, I'm totally down. I'm down with that.
This country. That's why I'm the only one.
I'll be honest though. I've
He just cuts them off. He cuts that Weasley little shit. Oh my God.
I thought about, because if conservatives started cheating, we'd be much better than Democrats at it. And I mean, at a certain level, man, I think about cheating because they're cheating and I'm not going to cheat. I'm being honest here, but I think about it.
Not going to cheat. I will, however, lie, make shit up.
I will make up every single story on my fucking channel.
I won't cheat. That would be wrong. Also, I sell some supplements full of lead on my website.
It's true. He does.
Here's a snippet from episode 416, The Deadliest Crotch, released on May 28th.
There are small fish in rivers that will swim up your urine stream and live in your penis. God is an asshole if he's real. That's not something you create if you're a benevolent God.
So are they constantly swimming upstream? They just always swim upstream.
They're like tiny salmon. The bitch of it is, in order to prevent them, you need tinier bears to eat them.
I put tiny bears and I put a small fishing ship up my penis to try to stop the small salmon.
It's like the penis version of like swallowed a fly to catch a spider. You just got
suddenly you got the whole crew of fucking that crab show on Discovery in your penis. What is it? The Deadliest Catch? It's the Deadliest Crotch.
Oh my God, it'd be a great venereal disease. I'm sorry, you've got the deadliest catch.
No,
it's not. Is it okay? Am I going to be okay? No, it's the deadliest catch.
You've got the deadliest crotch. So there's no, you can't. There's no getting back that back.
It's the worst.
You're
BD.
just basically shooting crab pots out of your And there's some wisecracking guy throwing a buoy out of there trying to grab it.
Hold on, you get the stethoscope out. Oh yeah, it's not good.
You just hear the sonar.
That's not good. I can hear the ocean in there.
You put your face by the claw.
Oh, classic sign of the deadliest crotch. That's no good.
That's horrible. All right,
let's hear Pat. Let's hear Pat. He doesn't top that, I bet, though.
Well, you remember Jesus gave a teaching about a demon. He said, after the demon is cast out of a person, he goes into arid land seeking someplace, and then he goes back to the house that he left, and he finds it swept and garnished, and he brings 7 more worse than himself.
Well, then why would you send him out in the first place? Well, I said there's no reason to send him out if he's just going to exponentially get bigger. Like, we'll just be like, well, fine, I guess I'll just have this fucking small person, this little person demon in the house, rather than 7 giant demons.
Is there no way to close the door after you clean your house? You got like this metaphysical house, you just fucking cleaned it and swept it. You got things all spring and spruced up. It's like Hotel California. Once they check in, they can never leave or whatever.
Exactly. It's like Motel 6.
White
6.
Nice. Nice. White evangelists have no problem locking black people out. You'd think they'd have no problem locking the demons out.
Disease, has a certain life to it. Some diseases, they're like animate creatures. And they want to go back to the house where they left. And you have to fill that void with something. And
with medicine. So what you do is you just take in a bunch of medicine or radiation or chemotherapy, and it gets rid of it. There's a virus-shaped hole in my heart. And I have to fill it with more viruses?
Tiniest little.
What? The fuck? She said she prayed. He's going to say, like, you got to fill it with something. He's going to suggest it's fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
But she already thanked Jesus.
already
Like,
did
what else
that,
does she need to do? Okay, fucking, here we go. Old man Winter.
That's what the teaching was. You have to be filled with the Spirit of God. And that disease is gone, but you somehow welcome it back. It isn't God putting it back. The disease wants to come back, and you receive it. So you have to be...
It's your fault.
You're the worst person ever.
I thought I got rid of my dysentery, but it's my fault because I still have dysentery. What the fuck is happening?
What an asshole.
That is some loving, generous advice. Like, yeah, I'm really trying to understand why I'm so sick all the time. Well, maybe it's because you're a cunt, Laura.
It's like that old stupid story where they're like, I prayed hard enough and I didn't get raped.
I know.
It's the same awful
Dang,
story.
it's the same shit.
I prayed real hard and I didn't get the cancers.
Jesus. Maybe if your resting bitch face didn't let demons back in.
I had to chop off a titty, but he's back now, and now I got to lose both my legs.
begin to stand against these things. So that's all I can say.
It's your
That's
fucking
useless.
fault. Sorry, it's your fault.
Well, what do I do about it? What does she do? She already thanked Jesus.
She already prayed, too. I've tried nothing, and I'm all out of ideas.
God.
All right, here's one from Belle. How do I know God can hear me?
Newsflash, he isn't there.
How do I know God can hear me?
Oh, this is great.
I've been praying to have a family of my own and for help in my struggle with polycystic ovary syndrome. Am I being impatient?
Well, you didn't even tell him how long you've been trying to have a family. Yes, you've been being impatient if you were like an hour ago, like, we should get pregnant. Are we pregnant already? That would be fucking impatient,
If-
God or no God.
Yeah, if you're on the operating room table and you're tapping your foot, there's a problem.
Yeah. Like, how the fuck?
While you're in there, can you just shove a baby in there?
You got any extra? Is there like a daycare where there's babies no one is using? You could just stick one in there. So I just want to birth it
So
later.
you could turn this thing into like a clown car / potato gun.
You know
so
what?
I could just shoot them out across the room.
I'll just marry a Duggar.
I don't know enough about your circumstances to give you a legitimate answer, but...
Then why'd you choose this question? Your editorialist board chose the questions. You're like, I don't have enough. What didn't know? You only get 3 fucking questions?
Got 3 pieces of email this week.
Of course God hears you, but you remember that...
But he might not give a shit about you.
He doesn't.
Right?
God hates you. He told me personally last
Well, he
night.
fucking hates that other chick.
I only can hear him because I have these huge ears.
story about Daniel praying and the angel...
And he had ovary problems too, or what?
Daniel had a bitch of a time getting pregnant. I'll tell you what.
Daniel's
Some
ovaries
bitch
were
of a time.
huge.
My
came
God.
to him and said, look, I've been fighting the Prince of Persia. Took me a while.
Oh, did
Yeah,
Persia have an R at the end of it when he was fighting
when
it
he was
too?
fighting the Prince of Persia, it took him a while because that game is hard to beat. It is a difficult game. It's real hard. That time slow shit is difficult to master, so I get it.
You've been fasting and praying, but I've been having this...
But maybe all the fasting isn't making you any stronger in fighting people. Maybe that's literally a terrible idea. You should have some protein, bro.
David, how are your ovaries? Are they okay?
this battle, but I'm on the way. You just have to be patient. So I think God's answer is on the way, but you have to be patient.
You'll be dead by the time it gets here.
If you wait long enough, either your prayers will be answered or you'll become demented and forget what they were.
Either your prayers will be answered or they won't. And we have literally no way of knowing that. So just be patient.
Well, your prayers would have come true if you hadn't been such a bitch and died.
And here's the real answer. Be patient and shut the fuck up.
Right, yeah.
That's the real answer.
I love that his answers are like, stop asking me these stupid questions. This is your segment.
This is your job.
You chose to make this your segment.
It's also your job to hold out your weird stick divining rod and tell us what he means.
I know.
Right? That's your job too.
Am I being... I like that his answer is like, yeah, you're being impatient.
Yeah.
Settle the fuck down.
Hold on, I'm listening.
Just get fucked more.
I put my satellite dish up to the ceiling. And I can hear.
Never stop always pray, continually seek God, continually thank Him.
Like in the Burger King drive-thru, like I can't order and pray at the same time.
Ma'am,
ABP, always be praying.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, we don't have a Hail Mary on the menu. I apologize.
And you'll have an answer, all right?
All right, here's one from Kathy. She says, my friends can all hear the Spirit of God talk to their spirits.
Wait, what are you, just eavesdropping on it? Like, my spirit is having this conversation with God.
Not me.
I wasn't. Yeah. I was basically like, I was reading the spirit's phone when they were asleep. Like, they were on the toilet. And
they have
a
like, diary.
I gave my heart to the Lord years ago, but I don't hear his voice. Could I be unsaved? I have felt unloved for years because of this.
That is so sad.
That is, I will say this.
That's so sad. These are all sad.
And the reason why this one's sad is because, she's been duped for her whole life that God's supposed to talk to you.
And all of her friends are like, oh, yeah.
He talks to me all the time.
And she's just like, I've felt unloved for years.
Yeah, now you feel like the crazy person,
That is so sad.
Yeah.
I bet he's going to say something super kind and reassuring.
I imagine all of your friends, I don't know that many people hear the voice of God. It's very unusual. It isn't something that all your buddies hear God's voice. If they do, that they're fake.
Your friends are liars. They're liars,
Kathy.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
I really believe that. I mean, in a sense, if we're open, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they're the sons of God. But God speaks to you from the Scripture. He speaks to you from, circumstances. He speaks from a lot of ways. So just open yourself, and the Spirit of God will speak to you. All right?
All right, here's...
Well, your comment is like, hold on a minute. That's terrible. Think about what he just said.
He said it doesn't talk to you, but
it doesn't talk to you, but you just have to wait, and he'll talk to you. So now if he doesn't fucking talk to this woman, she's still going to... That's such mean advice. His initial advice was better. Like, look, it's not really...
They're all faking
right. They're all lying to you. Just read this old book until it makes you feel better. That was, okay, fine. You're in your fucking crazy...
Right.
But then he fucking doubled down on, if you're good enough, he'll still talk to you.
And you really, really, really want it.
Likelihood is you're not good enough.
For Lane, she says, our church won't let anyone serve unless they tithe. Is that biblical? I can't find it in the Word. We tithe, but I've known people who were hurt because of this policy. They wanted to serve in various ministries, but were not allowed to.
I, again, think that's unbiblical. I don't understand anything that says you've got to give a certain amount of money in order to serve God. I don't know that. Huh. But I think, God loves a cheerful giver, and
I'm not saying you have to.
Here's the thing. You don't have to give a certain amount of money, but you do have to give.
We don't have to fuck tonight, but if you could just blow me a little.
That's what I put on my Tinder profile. Cheerful giver.
This clip is from episode 425, No Colusion, released on July 22nd.
Now, Trump, the next couple days later, was it 2 days later?
I don't know if it was a day or 2 days later.
It was either a day or 2 days later. Comes out with this statement.
This clarification.
And it's about a minute and a half long. We're going to play this again just so you can hear what his clarification
And then I won't interrupt.
We'll listen to this together.
So I'll begin by stating that I have full faith and support for America's great intelligence agencies, always had. And I have felt very strongly that while Russia's actions had no impact at all on the outcome of the election, let me be totally clear in saying that, and I've said this many times, I accept our intelligence community's conclusion that Russia's meddling in the 2016 election took place. Could be other people also. There's a lot of people out there.
I can't.
There are a lot of people out there.
I cannot interrupt that. I can't go more than 40 seconds.
I just want to say there are a lot of other people out there.
Could be a lot of other
7
people.
billion other people.
There's a lot of people. Could have been. Yeah, it could have been. But the NSA, the FBI, and the CIA have all pretty clearly said it's fucking Russia, and we indicted another dozen of them the other day.
We've narrowed it down to 12 indictments.
It could be.
no, you know what? It's not Eritrea.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not like they're not like Bula from Fiji. We've fucking stolen your election. That's not what's fucking happening.
Not at all.
And we know that's not what's happening because that's what any of the intelligence agencies say. And I believe the intelligence agencies, but also let me cast out on their conclusions.
Why does he have to walk this part back? Is because other parts of that speech where people were asking him about, like the intelligence agencies, when he says, well, I asked Mr. Putin, he said he didn't do it. It's just he's basically throwing his own intelligence agencies under the bus. And then now he's got to walk back and be like, oh, no. What I meant to say was I really, 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 really trust him.
I just can't even believe that. It's like, that's the guy that we said did the thing. Yeah. Well, I asked that guy.
I asked him.
And I mean, what, is he just going to lie right to my face? What the fuck? It's like, well, this guy maybe murdered someone. Well, no, I asked, and he said he didn't.
I asked him. I strenuously questioned him.
I asked. He said no. Yeah. So I don't know. We got to start over.
And the worst part is you can't even tell, because they don't speak the same language. So the interpreter is the one who you're hearing it from.
Right.
So you can't even tell. You don't know what a lie sounds like in Russian. You have no idea.
That's a good point, right?
You know what I mean? You're just like, well, the guy who told me sounded like he was telling the truth. Well, he's not the guy who did it.
He was very convincing when I didn't understand what he said.
He's just sitting there.
Oh, my God.
There was no collusion. Now, I have to say, I came back and I said, what is going on? What's the big deal? So I got it.
Nope. No, I already got. No, I'm sorry. No, you didn't come back. Yeah. You're on Air Force One. Yeah. You never left communication with the world. Yeah. He makes it sound like I showed up and the world was just going nuts and I was incommunicado. No, Air Force One is the internet. They put the whole internet in the back of the airplane.
You don't even need to be on Air Force One to have internet in the sky.
But I'm still saying.
You have go in flights.
Right?
You'll be fine.
They have it on Southwest.
You still post to Facebook and or Twitter while you're in the air, Prez.
And he does all the time.
He does.
He makes it sound like, I just, I got back home.
Completely unplugged. You know how the president should be. I like to kick my feet off. Turn my phone off for the night. Wakes up in the morning to a burning husk of the United States. Oh, she kept that ringer, hon. Whoopsie.
Do not disturb. They take that seriously at Verizon. Holy shit.
He's not unplugged. You're the president of the United States, man.
Like nobody came up to him and was like, sir, those comments you made, they've really, none of his people.
What the worst part is that there's nobody on his staff that'll could be like, hey, sir, you know those comments you made? They're fucking stupid.
I know, right?
You're an idiot.
Yeah. They're probably jumping out of the airplane.
committing suicide in the bathroom.
Fuck it.
Just they're breaking the fire alarm in there and lighting themselves on fire like a Buddhist. It's like, fuck it. I want to immolate myself so I don't have to be part of this
It's the least painful way to get out of the administration.
God. And I love that he had to start out with no collusion because it's written huge on the side of his. They said they took a photo of it. It's spelled wrong. And it's like fucking Sarah Palin. Where she's right.
Like no
the problem is Sarah Palin's hand isn't big enough for collusion. So you gotta put it on the paper next to him. What is happening in the world? This is our president. It's not even funny. It's not funny.
He can't spell what he didn't do.
Oh, man. Oh, you fucking idiot. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm a very good speller, the best speller.
He's in the United States.
It's like in a marker. He seriously wrote it in marker.
He wrote it Sharpie.
This way the Democrats can't erase it.
Like when you turn it over, it's got like Metallica on the front.
I drew the end with the lightning bolts at the bottom.
Got no collusion in the middle of this trapper keeper. Oh, God. Okay, there's still more of this, Tom. I gotta play it. I gotta play it.
We haven't gotten to the heart of it.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Transcript, I reviewed it. I actually went out and reviewed a clip of an answer that I gave. And I realize that there is a need for some clarification. It should have been obvious. I thought it would be obvious. But
Wait. It was obvious. No. He's right. He's right. It was obvious.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I love that he has to preface his retraction with, "You're too stupid to have understood what I said. I just want you to know, if you didn't understand me, before I clarify, it was your fault."
He's gaslighting all of us. He's gaslighting all of us. What is happening, man? Oh, Jesus. Okay, this is President Trump.
Okay.
I would like to clarify, just in case it wasn't. In a key sentence in my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't.
I don't know why that would make something unclear.
That's weird.
I used the opposite word to the word I intended to use.
Super weird, man.
So, Cecil, I was driving the other day and the light was red, so I went.
Oh.
And I meant
what I meant to do was
to stop because that's the opposite. And I caused a terrible accident. I killed 7 people.
It's so amazing. We're just like, I meant to say the exact opposite of what I've actually said. And we played just a few moments ago.
Yeah.
It does not sound.
That's not a misspeak.
Even remotely.
No, because the context around what he said supported the word would.
Yeah.
Also, it's because he was standing next to Putin, who would have kicked his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there. Putin would have been like, abso-fucking-lutely. I don't give a fuck that I'm in Helsinki. I will beat the Helsinki right out of you, you shitty old man. I keep a polar bear in my pocket. I will throw it at you right now.
You know, you remember when we were before the election cycle?
I do. Can I pause and enjoy that moment?
Go back.
I love those memories.
So do you remember, though, that there was constantly this, and we were getting it on our Twitter feed all the time, and there's this constant word cuck that was thrown around.
Yeah.
Cuck. And I figured out after watching this press conference why they loved that word so much. Because you look at those two on stage together. You look at President Trump and you look at President Putin, and you see a guy who's in power and another guy who's ready to suck jizz out of whatever that guy just came in.
Right. Yep.
And that's the difference between those two. He's just weak.
Here's one from episode 432, TransAtlantic Pipeline, published on September 6th.
So we want to talk about this story next. This is actually a YouTube clip from InfoWars. You can find InfoWars pretty much at InfoWars. Although this clip is on YouTube.
This clip is on YouTube, but it's a clip from...
Right. It's a clip somebody else excerpted from InfoWars. It's not the InfoWars channel.
So what happened is that Alex Jones somehow there was a video feed of his phone. His phone came into view while he was on the air. And while he's on the air, it just so happened that there was a tab open on a browser that said something about a T-Babe Marissa doing something. Right. I don't know.
I saw
it was very
short.
Like
cock slut is hungry for dick or
something like that.
Some nonsense.
Yeah, it's something that's going to catch your eye while you're scrolling. Really,
it's like, well,
all right.
It's convenient that I happen to be a cock chef. I will feed this young lady. Oh, she's hungry for dick. That happens to be what I have warmed up for supper.
I seem to have the salami. But anyway, this stupid thing comes up on his phone. This browsing tab comes up on his phone that clearly shows trans porn, right? The title, because somebody searched for the title and found, this title turns out, when you use the word T-Babe, there's specific. That means something.
Maybe he meant to type in T-Bird, like the old car.
Hey, man.
And he's like, whoa, I auto-filled.
That's what he used to drive around to get all the ladies in high school. Was the T-Bird.
The satanic ladies
all
or
those
whatever.
Satanic ladies were like, I love a good T-Bird.
Satanic bitches love T-Birds.
Do the T-tops come out?
Let me see your grand T-tops.
Everything. He's got a Trans Am. Oh, God.
It would be great if everything he had was like a trans something, but he's still transphobic. Like he drives a Trans Am. Like somehow he collects Transformers.
Yeah. He likes the transatlantic pipeline.
Yeah, he does.
He sure does. He looked it up on his phone, it turns out. No, but the reason why this is funny is because he's the guy who thinks the frogs are turning gay.
Right.
Because they're drinking stuff. And he's also one of these guys who's like, there's only two sexes and sex is equal to gender. He's very anti-trans.
Right.
And so he has been sort of, people have been like, what the fuck was going on there, bro? Because it's basically what happens with all the fucking
it's like the gay pastor is like, oh, those gays oiling up their hot man pecs and putting each other's hard, erect dicks in each other's mouths, the dirty, hot sinners. And you're just like, you're so gay.
Please stop.
You're gayer than the two dudes who hang out in the garage across the street from me. It's so gay. There are two dudes, by the way.
Yeah.
Every single night, and I don't mean most nights, every single night, my neighbors, they're just hanging out in the garage. The other day, they're hanging out when he's got his shirt off. They spend like 5-6 hours a day just hanging out in the garage, not working on something. They're just two dudes, and I drive home like, just kiss. Just kiss. Just kiss.
I'm reminded of the scene from American Beauty.
Right. Yeah. I told Haley, like, if you hear a gunshot and see somebody like covered in water looking like real confused, that's the neighbor. That's like, and it's like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. Just fine. Just leave your wives and be gay. Your wives don't care. They let you spend 6 hours a day together. They know. Everybody knows. It's the same thing with Alex Jones.
Yeah, Alex Jones has got this thing, clearly. And so he has this thing on his phone. It's shown on there. A bunch of people were like, hey, man, what's the deal? And someone actually asked him about it on his show. So let's play the clip from InfoWars.
I got to tell you, though, it's neck and neck, though. If people don't get upset about this, they can win.
Yeah. And also, what about the trans porn on your phone, Alex? Or you were going to talk about that?
Say that again?
Give me a minute to think about what to say. Hold on. I did hear your clearly worded question with no intervention. One more time while I pause and consider how to answer that question.
What did you say? And what's funny is after he plays this, he immediately knows what she's talking about, right?
Hang on a minute. I'm looking at trans porn.
It's not like you don't know, Alex.
Trans porn on your phone? That's all they keep talking about.
No.
And
I saw a couple news articles about that. It's ridiculous.
You
I was
saw
like
your
looking
phone. It was on your phone.
Yeah,
you didn't have to. Even if his fucking bullshit story is going to tell in a second, it's like, you had to close that browser tab.
You know what? It'd be funny.
I had to see that on the news. You had to see it on your phone.
It'd be funny if, like, once he saw that on the news, it reminded of his wank material and he wanked it again.
I actually, about 2 minutes in, it's pretty hot.
I was digging that tea, babe.
Some reporter we're trying to hire today and punched in some number and it popped up porn on my phone.
Wait, you punched in a number and it popped up porn on your phone? What number is that? Who do I have to text?
What? Who's looking something up? Hey, I'm going to hire somebody. Let me just punch numbers randomly into my internet browser. 4396. Oh, it looks like I should hire Cecil. What the fuck? What are you talking about?
8172. Why does that young lady have a cock in her mouth? That's weird. Huh. All I did was type in numbers.
Anyway, I'll just leave that open.
Anyway, I would just immediately close it.
His explanation here is fucking amazing.
It's so funny too, because like when I browse Reddit, once in a while, because like images will just open,
right?
And once in a while, they'll just be like some broad, like spread eagle,
right?
And it'll be like a Gone Wild or something because it got upvoted to the front page, and it'll just be like, oh Jesus! So like I scroll past all because if Sarah's in the room, I don't want to think I'm like, I'm not looking at porn while you're in the room.
Right.
I'll wait until you
you're
leave.
Grocery shopping.
I wait until you leave. No, I wait until she's doing the dishes.
Had porn pop up on their phones hundreds of times. So I'm sitting there with a phone.
Hundreds of times.
I have never had porn pop up on my phone, although I'm willing to try.
I will tell you that all of the porn that has popped up on my phone is because I went to Pornhub.com
I went
to get the porn on my phone.
I went to a porn site.
Right.
Yeah.
I was never like, I was at Peapod and I typed in Pornhub. What?
You remember that stupid fucking movie we watched where the guy was clicking on the pop-ups? Fireproof or whatever it's called.
He threw his computer monitor in the garbage.
He threw his computer away because he couldn't stop wanking it. Do you remember that movie?
I do.
This is Alex Jones. He's like accidentally, he's like, oh, there I was on my boat site and there was like a porn thing and I couldn't help myself.
I wanted to rent an apartment, so I went to penthouse.com. What the fuck? Hundreds of times this has happened to him? Hundreds of times.
I was looking for advice on my pet gerbil, so I went to X Hamster. I don't know. What? I got a pet gerbil. It's got a big X on his back. What do you want from me?
And then I stayed there and did not close the browser.
And then
Hundreds
a pop-up came up.
Oh my God.
I was looking up, how to discipline your child. I went to spankit.com. What do you want from me?
On air, showing it to everybody because I couldn't get a URL up in the studio. And then
Why? Why would you not be able to?
Yeah, because I didn't. It would have been amazing if he. You know how you can cast to device on your phone? Could you imagine if he cast to the thing, the TV
behind him?
Yeah, that'd have been awesome.
I just don't understand. Like, if he's looking at porn, why can't he get it up? Like, that's what the porn is for. That's these things seem incongruous.
Thing pops up, like, oh my God. And I looked at it. Wasn't the news blurted out because there was nothing there. They blurred it to then say something was there. Then
Wait, what does that mean?
The news, I looked at it and I said, oh my God. But then also there was nothing there.
And then the news blurred it to say something was
I think he's saying that there was nothing in the header. And then the news blurred it and made it look like it was trans porn. But it wasn't. It was totally regular porn.
Well, they'd only blurred the picture.
But I think I know. I'm right there with you, Cecil. This is a nonsensical. This is an explanation.
This is the guy.
When your kid, real fast, you come in, put the laundry away, and you hear whoo! And the computer shuts real quick, and he's got a towel over him, and he's just like, I gotta go.
He's just sitting there. He's like, I was folding laundry. I started and finished with this towel. And then I finished on this towel.
Also, this towel is not clean.
This towel has a stain on it. I need to wash it again.
We are going to need a lot of new towels.
I had to wash all my crusty socks. You got to pull the googly eyes off of all of them.
In unrelated news, we are out of lotion and Kleenex.
And I don't know why, but the internet's down.
I went to it was some porn menu. I probably had porn menus pop up 500 times on my phone. So
Why? What? That doesn't happen.
Is that a setting? Because I want it.
Porn menus?
Porn menus.
Porn menus let me see what I'm ordering today.
All the pot stickers.
It all looks like carpaccio.
I'll tell you.
It's just sausage and roast beef.
I don't know. I don't know what I want, but I definitely want the tacos. I definitely want the tacos.
I appreciate your call. I mean, it's insane, ladies and gentlemen. There's two types of people that look at porn and people that lie about it. But I wasn't looking at porn.
I'm one of the ones lying about it. I'm identifying that I am one of the ones lying about it.
That's amazing.
Oh, my God.
That is amazing.
Because I agree with him.
Yeah.
Everybody has looked at porn. Everybody. All of you. Right now are probably looking at porn.
And if you want to look at porn,
you can.
You can go to adamandeve.com. You can type in Glory at checkout. You'll get 50% off almost any item, a free sex swing, and free shipping. But they sell porn there. So, if you didn't want to, go to the internet to get it, you could go to the internet and then get it shipped to you.
Well, I like, you know what I like about buying porn in 2018 is there's a world where you're like, what if the internet goes down? I need to be prepared for all eventualities.
Absolutely.
It's like, I'm going to take 2 of those fucking food buckets.
Yeah. I was going to say.
a fucking DVD rack of like Anal Babysitter 9.
Absolutely. I will tell you right now, you know, I want an entire food bucket filled with DVDs.
like you're running your generator just to run your DVD player.
It's
like,
just once a day.
I'm almost out of electricity.
Just so you could run it one more time. After all the electricity goes out, you're just holding it up to the sun, hoping like it's like Cinemax when you were a kid, and you could maybe see a boobie on it.
On my phone, I don't take phones on air that I look at porn on.
I have separate phones.
We have another phone?
I use sex phone for my porn. I have a separate phone, and I dubbed it sex phone. And this is the phone I fuck with.
Here's what I do. I don't look at it on a phone. Look at it on a computer.
That's not what I do. Well, I have a whole slew of phones for different.
Just like several phones.
He's the only guy who fucking unitasks with a smartphone. I want to download that app. I better buy a new phone for it.
Yeah.
And so I saw all that. I didn't respond to it. I mean, if I respond to half the attacks on me, but then they get ridiculous. But I'll say this. The Amazon ads, the Viagra ads, the weird non-plastic bag ads are taking my iPhone over. iPhones didn't used to be that bad like Androids.
He is just babbling.
Yeah, at the end, he's just going like he's doing what he can to try to deflect in any way possible. But this is the kind of guy though that would be embarrassed that you know, like this sort of thing happened.
The only reason to be embarrassed is because it's a hypocritical stance to take.
Exactly.
It is like we were joking earlier. It's the gay pastor.
It's the guy who got caught with the trans person who was paying the hooker or whatever.
Right, in the airport or whatever.
No, I'm talking about the guy who was like the mega church dude who was hiring.
That was an airport, wasn't he? Didn't he pick up a trans person at an airport and do a bunch of meth or something? Am I mixing?
Maybe there's a bunch of different ones. But he was picking them up like every week. Like he had a trans prostitute that he would.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, and that was the guy from the Jesus Camp movie who's like, we know what you did this weekend. It's that guy, whatever his name is. It's some
who's the guy
Haggard,
that got the
Ted Haggard, was that his name?
Yeah. Who's the guy who did the shoe tappy tappa in the airport?
That was a Republican congressman or something.
Who's the guy that got the rent boy and traveled with the
That's a
rent
Republican
boy?
congressman.
I get all these guys mixed up.
I always thought that it would have been priests, but it's not. It's congressmen too. So
they don't need to rent them. They get them free from their parents who send them to church.
It's free. They're rent to own.
And finally, here is a bit from episode 436, Outsourcing Empathy.
I know the year is not over.
I know
it's not.
This is an amazing story.
But I love this story. Yeah. Like I love my family. I love this story in
Equal
maybe
amounts.
reverse order. This is from The Guardian. And I had to double check, like, is this
real? Yeah.
Is this real?
No. When I read it too, I was like, what the fuck? Because it's all over the place.
So Cecil, I'm going to make this a talkie. I'm going to read this story and we will come because this is just perfect. Demons and Armageddon. Details emerge in naked kidnapping case. A group of 5 who kidnapped 3 people and crashed their car believed they were escaping the end of the world and faced imminent danger. 3 people who were arrested naked by Canadian police after kidnapping their neighbors and crashing their car into another vehicle were Jehovah's Witnesses who believed that they were escaping the end of the world, according to court documents.
What? When they call them up in court, will they call a Jehovah's Witness to the stand? Is that what's going to happen? I would like to call Jehovah to the witness stand.
In a plea document obtained by the Canadian press, 2 women and a man admitted to kidnapping 3 people in the western province of Alberta last year, which brought a degree of clarity to the bizarre incident last November. I got to say, like, when you agree that, I kidnapped 3 people and that brings clarity to the situation.
Like, oh, geez, that clears it all up. Thank you.
That situation is fucked, right? This I also like. One of the women also pleaded guilty to dangerous driving. That's important.
Oh, okay.
The traffic ticket you stacked on the end of this thing. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police launched their investigation after they were called to the scene of a car crash in an industrial park in Nisku, south of Edmonton. They arrived to find a white BMW that had collided with a truck. Inside were 5 people, 4 of them naked, despite the centimeters of snow on the ground and temperatures that hovered around 14 degrees.
4 naked people. You walk up to that car as the cop. You just go, nope. And then you turn around and you walk away. You're like, nope, I'm done. I'm good. No, I'm calling in Bill. This is Bill's. I don't want to write up the paperwork for this one.
How weird is it when you're the one wearing clothes in the car? You're like, come on, let me take off my pants too.
You're the prude.
Keep your pants on. No one wants to see you. That's just mean. It's not a toadstool.
It's a toadstool surrounded by Yeti hair. What do you want?
According to the plea document, the episode had begun several days earlier when one of the women took her 2 teenage daughters to visit her 27-year-old nephew and his 30-year-old wife, who lived in Luddock, Alberta.
Wait, hold on. So you're sitting in the car naked with your nephew and his wife and your daughters?
Yeah, and your 2 teenage daughters. Well, this will all come. Clarity will arrive.
It's not even warm out. Like, I mean, I can understand if like you're fleeing a nudist colony or it's really, really hot out or something.
And you're like, I gotta run.
And everybody's just like,
pants are just gonna slow me down.
I'm so warm. And everybody's like, I'm real warm too.
This is the start of a movie.
This is the start of a movie.
After 3 days at the house, during which the group barely ate, why? They came to believe that they had lived through the Great Tribulation, a period of suffering which some evangelical Christians believe heralds the second coming.
Hey, now, that's why they're all naked.
That's why they were,
So,
believing they were in imminent danger, the group fled the house. But in their haste, none of the family except the mother managed to get dressed.
Okay, no, it's even worse than I thought before. Before I was just like, oh, they're just in the car naked. No, they were hanging out in the house naked.
Thank you.
For a while.
Yeah.
Clearly long enough to be surprised enough to not get dressed.
This is a quote. 4 who were naked were changing, but they had to leave right away because it was unsafe. So they left without clothes.
No, they were not.
So they're all
simultaneously changing.
Let's all change. We'll all be in the exact same state of undress at the same time.
And go.
I know, right?
It's a race.
Okay, and we have one. It's like you're playing like musical clothes. There's like one set of clothes, and like mom gets it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they're playing Truth or Dare, and the mom is just baller at it. She's just like, no, nobody's ever getting my clothes off. I'm all daring all day.
I want to know, like, what in that room or house? I don't know. Like, what changed from moment 1 to moment 2, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get changed. Oh God, the tribulation.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. It's at the end of the article, they say it was maybe hallucinogenic tea.
Oh, well, imagine that.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, no, that's probably what it was.
So the group piled into a BMW SUV, which the mother drove through the garage door to make their escape. They're just like, fuck it, we don't have time to open the garage. Smash up their escape vehicle. I love, too, they're going to drive away from Revelation.
Yeah, they're gonna hurriedly.
We got to get to exit 9.
Guys, we've got a jog walk here.
But then they decided they needed to rescue the neighbors from God. They forced a man into the trunk of their vehicle and made his adult daughter and her baby climb into the back seat.
Okay, wait. Now this just screams unprepared. They're not dressed. They don't even lift the garage door. They go next door and they have to stuff a guy in the trunk. Like, these people are the least prepared people ever. You are not ready for the end of the world. You are not ready. You are not a prepper.
I was going to say, these are anti-preppers. Can you imagine, like, you're at home and, like, 4 people rush your house naked in a panic and shove your dad into their car. And they're like, get in! God's coming. Be like, I'll stay here. You can keep Dad or whatever.
So I got a question for you. Yeah. Let's say you got a bunch of those Jim Baker buckets at your home. You're waiting for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people come over and they eat all your buckets. You know what those people are? Stuffed preppers. That is such a dad joke. That's amazing.
It's so bad.
Stuffed preppers. Delicious.
Oh my
God. You cook those right in a bucket.
All right. They did so because they believed they were in danger, either from bad or wicked people outside or from demons.
Let's not rule things out, Tom.
The BMW then raced down the highway, blasting through a red light as its occupants chanted Jehovah over and over. Again, imagine you're one of the kidnapped
I will
dudes.
tell you, man.
It's amazing.
This would be the best movie I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. First, it would be a great made-for-TV movie after school. It would be an amazing Netflix series. It would be awesome on Pornhub. I don't care what. I literally don't care what medium you show this to me. I think it would kill.
According to the document, the three neighbors managed to escape when the SUV slowed down and flagged down a passing truck. Quote, "It's the middle of the winter and people are running around with no shoes on. You stopped to help them," said Derek Scott, the truck's driver. The neighbors climbed aboard the truck, but the relief was short-lived. The SUV rammed Scott's truck, and both vehicles ended up in a snow-filled ditch.
Jesus Christ.
When police responded to the accident, they faced a group who, quote, displayed extreme strength and refused to leave.
These guys are on PCP, man, or
They're
whatever.
fucked.
They're so wasted.
According to the court document, one of the teens believed the officers were, quote, monsters who would kill them. No word on whether they were in America and the teen was black. Police eventually resorted to using a combination of pepper spray and tasers to subdue and arrest the passengers.
Yeah, they're screaming like, keep the poison-spitting electricity monsters away from me. You answered your previous question, though, because that line would have said, and they were shot to death in America.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, you answer your own question. They used non-lethal means in order to subdue them. So, no, they're not in America.
No. The cops would have been like, bomb the SUV.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any, can we just explode? Can we just shoot it off into space?
At the time, police suspected drugs or alcohol might have been a factor in the incident.
Yeah.
The father of the two teens,
spang up police work there, buddy.
Right? Told investigators that he fears the group might have consumed a hallucinogenic tea.
Yeah, that sounds likely.
They probably consumed all of the hallucinogens.
It sounds like they did bath salts, man. What the fuck?
Thanks for listening. Hope you all had a wonderful new year, and here's the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo-quasi-alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan, sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death and towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.